going on, guys? It's Ryan once again here with Michigan Storm Chasers. Going to give you guys an update. We talked about earlier this afternoon about how severe weather chances are going to increase into this weekend, into early next week. Let's go ahead and break that down as best as possible. But first, I do want to just kind of throw this out there as a disclaimer. So, for those of you who are new following us here, the way this works, usually with forecasting in general, not just us, but across the board, typically, when we're out, 5+ days, a week out, or 10 days out, or 15 days out, we can usually break down patterns of activity pretty well. But when it comes to like specific hazards like damaging winds, large hail, tornadoes, locations like Flint, Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids, exact locations like those. When you combine those two, those are often not known until roughly 2 to 3 days before that event happens. So right now we are in that phase of seeing the activity picking up on models and across various sources here. Um, but we're not to that point yet. We can get detailed. So I want to make that as a disclaimer now. And that usually goes across the board for snow events, severe events, etc. So a lot of questions, specific questions when we post, hey, we're watching this severe weather chances will increase. We're watching this time frame here. That's all we're letting you guys know. Okay, we can't get specific. I see a lot of questions rolling in on Facebook, on YouTube. So just want to put a disclaimer out there. We can't get specific with this just yet. But what I can tell you is there is going to be probably multiple days between Saturday and Wednesday potential severe weather. Let's go ahead and dive into what we're kind of tracking here. This should be a fairly short video. Let's go ahead and start right now with what we do know, and that is going to be for our day 5 outlook. We do have severe probabilities up in the UP, but notice how it does push over to Lake Michigan as well. So that's a slight risk of 15% probability of severe weather for Sunday, July 14th. That does include portions of the UP. Will likely get extended again further to the east and perhaps north as well. Now, remember, we have these marginal risks as well to go around the slight risk. So we could definitely see an expansion here. But Sunday looks to be the day that would be the most concerning in the short term here. But also Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday do look interesting as well. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right. So long-term forecasting, the pattern looks pretty well, or look pretty good for right now. We're going to dive in here to the GFS model, latest run this morning, which is July 10th. I'm making this video mid-afternoon, so you'll see this video likely this afternoon, evening. Members get it first, and then it goes public a little bit later tonight. All right, so the overall pattern here we're going to watch is your overlap of wind shear with instability. Move this through the time frame. Here's Thursday. Here's Friday. Watch the coloration here. The brighter the color, the better the environment here. The yellows, orange, reds, purples, pinks, aquas are the colors that we want to see. Like right there. That's a good environment showing up here on the model. But here is Saturday. Notice how we have just a bit of coloration here in Michigan, but most of it is off to our west. So Saturday overall chances are quite low, but definitely not zero. I do think the threat for Saturday is going to be off to our west. We may get morning remnants of the what happened on Saturday night. We could push complexes, could push across a lot of different scenarios here, but Saturday does look to be an overall low threat. The chances definitely increase into Sunday as we get into the mid-afternoon time frame. There's our environment watching out to our west, Wisconsin, Minnesota, as well as the UP, western half of the UP getting in the better environment. That's going to shift eastward with time, and then that is going to shift into lower Michigan here Saturday, or should I say Sunday night? Apologies, Sunday night. So that's going to be our first big chance, I'm going to think, here for some severe weather. Moving on into Monday, though, the model does shift a better environment here into southern Michigan here on Monday, and it repeats back to the west here across Wisconsin. So perhaps multiple rounds here. Here's Monday, but then we're going to see the exact same thing happen here on Tuesday as well, with that coloration, better environment sticking around Michigan, in particular southern Michigan on Tuesday. But Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday do look to be concerning for severe weather. Now, with this overall pattern, it does favor more of a linear type of event, which means damaging winds should be the main concern here. But we are too far out to say that with confidence. So tornadoes and hail definitely on the table with these types of systems. But the overall environment and the overall pattern here synoptically does favor damaging winds if we can get the instability without a cap and stuff like that. There's a lot of things going for damaging wind concerns in this time frame. This goes for all the days here. As we get past Tuesday into Wednesday, the coloration continues to stay here in Michigan. But as we get into that Wednesday time frame, our confidence drops off quite a bit just because when we look at the ensembles, which is a group of models put together, it does look overall a little bit less organized and less congruency between all of the models coming together. So I can tell you, Saturday to Tuesday, there's going to be likely going to be chances of severe in the region here. Michigan, especially Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, at least, possibly Wednesday and beyond that as well. We always look to the CSU learning model here. It's done a really good job this year pinpointing higher corridors of risks, starting with Saturday. Now, the CSU does have Southwest Michigan there in that yellow probability. Now, the colors there are coordinated to the probability on the bottom of that screen. There's a bar there. The white's 0%, the brownish color is 5%, the yellow color is 15, the red's 30, the purple is 45, and the really dark purple is upwards of 60% probabilities. So the CSU learning model, starting with Saturday, does have Michigan, parts of Michigan, should I say, within that 15% probability corridor. So keep an eye on Saturday. I do think the risk is highest off to the west, but definitely keeping an eye just in case. Sunday, we're going to go in order here. Here's Saturday, here's Sunday. The entire state is going to be within that slight, we're not going to call it slight risk, but it's going to be a 15% probability here, which would correlate to that slight risk essentially on this model. Again, this is not the SPC risk. This is just a model. And then as we move into the Monday timeframe, Michigan continues to be showing up there in that 15% probability corridor. We go into Tuesday, it does shift to the south just a bit. And then as we get into Wednesday, that does shift a little bit further south here. And these are updated every evening overnight. So you wake up to a fresh set of runs here from the CSU, as well as our GFS European, the typical models we use as well. So overall pattern here, trends active. Overall synoptic pattern does favor damaging winds as a main concern. But again, with the distance, the day currently is Wednesday here. So we have 4 or 5 plus days to figure this out. So let's not panic just yet. We're just giving you guys communication here that, hey, we're looking at possibly multiple days of severe weather. Tornadoes, hail, wind, all on the table with these at this point until we can narrow down further. Damaging winds does look to be the primary driver. Specific areas and stuff like that are not going to be known until we get probably closer to that Saturday, or should I say probably Thursday night into Friday time frame, and especially Friday afternoon. We're going to nail things down here for at least the Saturday, Sunday time frames. But we got to get closer here. Another thing to mention as well is with these back-to-back days, we can get what we call a domino effect happening where the previous day will affect how the next day plays out. A lot of mesoscale features such as outflow boundaries or cloud cover, stuff like that could hinder, or even sunshine even could raise the threats. So there's a lot of moving parts to these forecasts. The overall pattern, though, is trending active between Saturday and Tuesday at the very least. All right. So with that being said, that is your update video. I hope you guys found it enjoyable. Please smash the like button if you enjoyed. If you have not done so already, consider subscribing to our YouTube. It is free to do. We are trying to push toward 20,000 subscribers here by the end of July. So with your help, we can do that. If we get 20K, we'll do some giveaways as well. All right. You guys enjoy your rest of your evening as well as your Thursday as well if you're watching this on Thursday. But that's all I got for you guys. We'll be on here tomorrow, which is Thursday, for another update in regards to how it's looking and perhaps nail some more specific things down for you guys, hopefully. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your night.